Okay, I'm just gonna make a quick video about this because for some reason for the past 5 years, Michelle Obama has been paying my daughter, her family, my aunts, my uncles, and claiming basically trying to make them think that George Bush and the CIA is doing it. But she's the one who came up with this plan up at my daughter's high school to say that I think it was five Clio students threw rocks off the overpass and killed a guy who basically had the exact same name as me, same age as me, even looked like me. And I'll show you. First of all, she made sure that this was published. She published August 3rd. Obama's birthday is August 4th. Princess Diana was murdered on August 31st, which also is like August 3 plus 1, 4. If you look at where Princess Diana was murdered, here's the overpass. And there's something very important about this overpass because what sits on top of it is a replica of the Statue of Liberty and the torch that she carries. But everybody knows now that that statue is actually Lucifer, and that's not even a woman. If you've seen the Statue of Liberty, you know that it's not a woman. Give you another look at this. And then, this was just some strange thing she did. And as I moved from Jacksonville, came back to Michigan, actually, it's updated on my birthday, August 9th. And, look at the names of these people who supposedly murdered this guy by throwing a rock. My name's Michael Kenneth. His name was Kenneth White. So you know a black person came up with this because they're trying to say, Kenneth White, Michael's racist or whatever. It says 3 teens charged in 2017 rock throwing death. Mark Sikelski. If you add all these names up in the gematria calculator, every one of them equals 33. Mykedin Payne. My name's Michael, so Mykedin Payne. You think that's a real name? Yeah, I don't think so. My buddies used to call me Mykedin because once in a while we would take Vicodin and it was like a joke. So the whole time, this transgender was mocking me. But not only was she mocking me, then she put out a book a year and a half ago intentionally wearing a sweater with the colors of Epstein on it. You see? And the book's called The Light We Carry. And then she made sure to flash it on this thing in France. And it is clearly intended to mock Princess Diana because, first of all, why did she put it only here instead of nowhere else? She's wearing all the colors of Epstein Island's little, I don't know what you want to call it, but. And do you think that Princess Diana, the whole reason they murdered her was because she was always going to these foreign countries and trying to get help for these children who were starving to death that Michelle Obama never once went and visited? Michelle Obama and Barack Obama never did any charity. They cannot stand black people. All their friends are white except for Oprah. Their best friend is Harvey Weinstein, aka the Punisher. I mean, these are pretty sick people. They all come from Chicago. Podesta's come from Chicago. Hillary was born in Chicago. Michael or Michelle Robinson was born in Chicago. In these past 4 years, they called it The Final Dance. Like the Michael Jordan video, The Final Dance. So they thought it would be clever because there's always photos of her and Barry dancing. And it just kind of makes me sick that, do you think that Princess Diana would be happy to see a transgender and her husband, causing all these problems? From day one, it was the Obama's job to poison the youth and to poison the future generations. To feed them a bunch of garbage and lies about cutting off your genitals and being gay, and if you're not, something's wrong with you. And that's why she was always saying stupid stuff about, all I want to do is make sure the kids have better food at school. You get it? Food, like soul food? in the world of black people, they call soul food like when people read the Bible. Well, she's talking about feeding them bad information to poison them. It's similar to what Hillary Clinton was doing, the same thing before she came along. Hillary Clinton took a famous picture in her early days. She was on the cover of Teachers magazine for Arkansas, and it said, "Why every teacher in Arkansas hates Hillary." And she was sitting there with a rotten apple in her hand. I mean, these people have been poisoning the system and the youth for a long, long time. And if somebody comes along like Diana, who doesn't poison the youth, doesn't take advantage of kids, then they kill her. And it's just sickening. It's absolutely sickening to think that there are two Africans in the United States in the year 2024 who, after 12 years, still will not leave the White House, still will not release their hand off our government. I mean, I'm not even a Trump supporter. I know who he is. I know who he is. He is the 11th king out of the book of Daniel, chapter 7, chapter 8. He's the final king. It says he's more stout than all the other ones. He has a fierce countenance, and he understands dark sentences. You know what that means? He understands dark sentences? That means he understands what I'm telling you about right now. All of these things that they're writing, they're all in code and hidden messages and whatnot. And that's how they ended up. Oh, one of the kids' names was Kyle Anger. You really think their names are fake, just like the Obamas? You think Barack, Saddam Hussein, Osama. I mean, the guy was literally given a name to mock Saddam Hussein and Osama bin Laden because they all work with Israel and Netanyahu. Do you know who the head of Mossad is in Israel? His name is Ehud Barak. No way. His name is Ehud Barak. He used to be the prime minister of Israel. Where do you think Barry Soetoro got his name from? And Barry Soetoro, that's Barak's real name. What does that sound like? What's a toro, a Taurus? It's a bull. Because just like it says in the book of Acts 7:43, for they took up the tabernacle of Moloch. And of course, they're all from Chicago, home of the Bulls. But yeah, I want to point these things out because these people get off on fooling everybody and tricking people into thinking they're good people, they're nice people, when they're not. First of all, that's a man. That is not a woman's legs. That is not a woman's body. That is a man. And the greatest thing they can do, the greatest accomplishment to these people, just like Arnold Schwarzenegger, is to fool everybody, to trick everybody into thinking like Bill Gates. How many years did Bill Gates hand out birth control to Africans in Africa? What does that have to do with Microsoft? Nothing. But so because they're all Jesuits, so what he was doing was trying to lower the population by getting rid of blacks. Well, who's Michelle Obama's best friend? Bill Gates' wife, actually, which is Melinda Gates. I mean, why are you going to be friends with people who are trying to get rid of black people? Well, because they're rich. And when she wears these necklaces saying light on them, she don't mean light. Like, you remember QAnon kept saying, bring the light from light to darkness, from light to darkness. They're talking about the light of Lucifer, because in the Bible, he's called the morning star, the bright, shining morning star. That's what he used to be until he was cast down from the heavens. And what's coincidental about that is if you look in astrology and you look at the one for, dude, that is a guy. Look at his face. You can even see where like the beard has to be shaved every day. You look at the Taurus. They say it's a Taurus, it's a bull, but if you look closely, shoot, let's just look at it. If you look at it closely, it don't look nothing like a bull. It looks like Satan falling from heaven. Tell me you can't see that. So, I don't know. God puts signs in the heavens, but every time he does, these people run as quickly as they can to cover him up. Like Starlink. That is a sign in the heavens. I seen it myself. But what do they say? Oh no, that's Elon Musk. We put a bunch of satellites in the sky to give people free internet. Oh really? That's funny. I can't even get phone service when I leave my house because of the things that I put on the internet. I'm not allowed to speak up against these murderers and child rapists. So, hopefully Trump comes in and takes care of it this time, because according to the prophecy in the book of Daniel, he will subdue 3 former kings. And it says that will be in the later time when the world is at its end. So that has to be now, and never has it been more ripe to subdue 3 former kings. I mean, killing Princess Diana, and the only people who ever said a bad thing about Princess Diana besides Charles was all the people on Epstein Island. Ghislaine Maxwell, she gave an interview where she said she was happy because she made Diana cry. And that's because Ghislaine Maxwell's father happens to own the Sun magazine, one of those gossip magazines. He also owns the National Enquirer. And they're the ones who used to chase her around and take all the photos and then put out the false news. He disappeared in the 90s. He faked his death because he was working for Mossad. So personally, I've been praying and asking the Lord who murdered Princess Diana, and I feel like he told me that's who it was. It was Ghislaine Maxwell's father. And coincidentally, Ghislaine Maxwell's father is the son of Mother Teresa. Yeah, that would explain why Ghislaine Maxwell was always at the United Nations giving speeches. I mean, obviously she knew somebody up there. Well, her dad has been one of the highest ranking people in Israel and in their intelligence department for many years. And it also says that this last final king, the 11th king, that not only he will also take out the holy people and the mighty people. That means he's going to destroy Israel. Clearly they must deserve it. Because if it's their intelligence department murdering all of these people for no reason, except to get rid of anybody good in this world, just like they murdered the crocodile hunter, because he was the only person putting out good television for children. It's sickening, but hopefully change happens. I mean, the bad thing is this king is going to come after me too. And then finally it says he's going to go after the prince of princes, and he will be broken, but not by human hands.